One is a highly touted freshman who's already rewritten the Princeton and Ivy League record books. The other is a senior in the midst of a breakout campaign. Together, Michael Sowers and Gavin McBride are a big reason why the Princeton Tigers are back in the national rankings and the Ivy League tournament.
Sowers this time drawing Trevor Kelsch. Sowers beat him and dropped it off for a beauty to McBride.
We get along really well off the field, and at the end of the day, we just have a lot of the same goals. We're both super competitive individuals, whether it's pick up hoops or we play horse every day after practice, literally every day, and it's as competitive as practice is.
Sowers arrived on campus after leading the U.S. Under-19 national team in scoring at the World Championships last summer. 14 games into his college career, he set the Ivy League record for points by a freshman and ranks third nationally with 77. He was named the unanimous Ivy League Rookie of the Year, and he's the only player in Princeton history with at least 35 goals and 40 assists in a season.
I think a lot of that is attributed to, the guys that are around me, in the sense that, people are so worried about guys like Gavin McBride, Austin Sims, and Zach Currier, that all of a sudden you start to stretch out a defense, and it leaves them pretty vulnerable at spots.
You see Mike play for the first time and you think, oh, he's dynamic, he's super quick, he's super athletic, that's why he's such a good lacrosse player. But it's actually, he thinks the game at a senior in college's level, not at a freshman's level. So he sees plays develop before they happen. So he's a really cerebral lacrosse player, and I think that gets lost in kind of his athletic abilities.
If you're going to be playing the Princeton Tigers over the next 4 years, tell the trainer, pack the extra ankle tape.
My dad is always harped on, playing the game the right way, and growing up playing for him, I was always an attackman, and I would always kind of dodge, and I would draw a slide, and early on, all I wanted to do was score. And he would always yell at me. That kind of taught me, to pass the ball to the open guy, and that's something he's always preaches. If a guy's open, you give it to him. So from an early age, I was looking to pass, and my head was always up, and I was always trying to make, people around me better, because, I was playing with some of my best friends from an early age, and I found they were having a lot more fun when they were able to score too, so.
While Sowers' impact at Princeton has been immediate, McBride's wasn't. He was held scoreless during his freshman campaign. Last year as a junior, he led Princeton with 26 goals. This year, McBride enters the Ivy League tournament as the nation's leading goal scorer with 51, two behind Jesse Hubbard's school record. Hubbard is in the Lacrosse Hall of Fame.
My first birthday ever was at my uncle's Final Four game. He played at Virginia. So I've literally had a stick in my hand since I was 1 year old. That was my first birthday present. I'm not necessarily as athletic as maybe some of the more dynamic guys on our team, like Mike or Zach or Austin. So I got to find a way to affect the game in different ways, and I think kind of just having a nose for the goal and being an opportunistic lacrosse player has attributed to that ability.
Obviously, he has so much talent, and he has a knack for putting the ball in the back of the net, but to me, without question, it's his work ethic. He's one of the hardest working kids I've ever been around. And it's something that people don't really know about him, is that he's the last one on the field at practice and the first one to get there.
One thing Sowers and McBride have in common is geography. They both prepped outside of Philadelphia. McBride is one of 17 graduates of the Haverford School currently playing Division I lacrosse, while Sowers came to Princeton as the National Career High School Assist Leader, 402, to go along with nearly 200 goals at Upper Dublin High School.
A lot of the guys I played with my senior year in high school, Forey Smiths at Hopkins, Dox Aikens at Virginia, a lot of those good players played with Mike on their summer Mesa team. So they let me know ahead of time how special Mike actually was. So I knew those numbers weren't a joke, and he was the real deal.
I watched him from an early age, him playing at Haverford School and the great teams they had. And so, obviously I knew about him, and I think that it definitely kind of helped us gel, and he knew where I was coming from and, how I played a little bit and the style and some of the guys. So, I think it definitely helped a little bit.
Princeton enters the weekend ranked second in the nation in scoring offense, nearly 5 goals per game better than a year ago. The Tigers have already avenged 3 double-digit losses from last year and enter the Ivy League tournament as the number 2 seed, which means they're 2 wins away from going back to the NCAA Tournament for the first time since 2012.
We're playing for our lives at this point, so every single game could be the end of my career, and that's how we're approaching this as a team. There's 11 seniors, and all of our lacrosse careers are basically on the line at this point, and that's how we're going to approach every game. We're going to do everything we can to keep playing more games as a team.
For GoPrincetonTigers.com, I'm Cody Khrushchev.